Hello friends, it's Trevor, it's Avery, it's Pat, it's the citywide special. Opening day is spoiled by a fraudulent weather forecast. The Phillies will now start their season on Friday against the Braves. Taijuan Walker hits the IL, opening a rotation spot for Spencer Turnbull. The Sixers lose a tough game against the Clippers Wednesday night after beating them in LA over the weekend. Is an Embiid return imminent? Social media posts from himself and the team seem to suggest so. The reigning MVP has begun practicing with the team and will join them on the road. With an easy remaining schedule, can the Sixers somehow avoid the play-in? The Flyers finished their gauntlet with a wild overtime loss against the Rangers. Jamie Drysdale and Nick Seeler have returned to practice and are expected to rejoin the team before the end of the season. Ivan Fedotov appears to somehow be on his way to North America after his KHL contract is terminated. Could the Flyers finally have an answer at backup goalie? Howie and Jeffrey speak at the NFL owners meeting. A Hassan Reddick trade seems inevitable. When can we expect a deal? The tush push is officially here to stay for another season. The NFL also adopts a new kickoff rule and bans the hip drop tackle. The Union pick up their first win of the season with a 3-1 win over Portland on Saturday. All that and more coming up right now. How's it going, fellas?
Good to be back. It's been a couple of week hiatus. I was out a few weeks ago. We had a little trip to New Orleans. Last week we all took a little week off. Much overdue. I think we've been running hot 50-some, 54, 53 weeks, whatever it was in a row consistently. Yeah. So I think we
finally
well-deserved break.
To illness.
Yeah, had to take a little PTO, but back, feeling good. Phillies are back. It's a great time of year where you got three of the major sports about to be going on at the same time. Couple playoff hopes still alive in Philadelphia, while the Phillies have a tremendous amount of, I'd say, pressure and expectations really coming in. But yeah, it feels good, man. Spring is in the air. People are getting grilling again. It feels life is coming back to the city, which is great.
Yes, sir. You didn't remark about the rain. I don't know if you noticed
well,
this.
It's been.
In the episode that you weren't here, I had to step in and do the weather.
We were fumbling to try to figure out the weather report.
Yeah, you always come through with the weather.
It spit a little bit. Got to see a nice little rainbow, so it was just enough rain to have a little good luck over the city. So hopefully that predicts a win for tomorrow's opening day, which would be nice.
Yeah, I didn't realize the Phillies have won their last 3 opening days. Yeah, knock on
wood. Home openers? Because they lost against the Rangers. Yeah, because I was like last year.
Last year they had that game against
huge lead against the Rangers.
Yeah, their last 3 home openers they've won.
We were at Brothers too for that game, or at least I was.
I wasn't.
Yeah, I guess I was.
I was home.
I don't know why I think that's like a yearly thing. It's just me at the bar. Anyway,
we're there in spirit.
Yeah.
Opening day's pretty cool. Like, I always felt when I was younger it should be a national holiday. I mean, baseball is America's pastime. You know what I mean? So opening day should be America's national holiday.
And you want to see it sold out. Like, it always is tough when it's 3 o'clock on a Thursday. Like, you know, people are still at work trying to get out or whatever. We'll say shout out Uncle Al. When I was a kid, when in grade school still yet, there was like a stretch of 3 or 4 years in a row. He would always pull me out of school early, and we'd go shoot down and go to the opening day game.
That's what's up.
Colder, though. I feel like it was never... I mean, it's chilly now, but it's pretty pleasant the last couple of years. When we were going when I was a kid, it was always like you were bundled up.
Yeah.
It was cold.
Yeah, I mean, I think back to the 2006 to 2012. Like, I went to many opening days those years. I remember one year, I think this was 2011. It was Roy Halladay's second year. Their first game was at home. It was like 40 degrees, rainy, wet, windy. That sucked. I remember going in 2012. It was sunny out, but it was super windy. It was like 40-mile-per-hour gusts of wind. It felt like it was like...
Usually wasn't a pleasant day.
I always like fuck up when I try to go to those early season games in April or whatever because it'll be kind of nice in the afternoon and I'll just show up wearing a t-shirt or something, and then by the time the 5th inning rolls around, I'm ready to fucking die.
Especially if you're not like a sunny seat, you know, you get like, oh, I'll get the overhang seat, and then it's like, damn, I'm cold as shit right now watching baseball. Like,
a couple of years ago, I had to finally like break down and go to the store and buy a hoodie. buy like an $80 hoodie because I just couldn't take it anymore. Yeah,
I went to
it's nice. I still wear it a lot. It's nice, but
I went to a spring game, an early spring game a couple of years ago. Kind of made the same mistake. Then I bought this.
That's nice.
That I'm wearing right now. It was a lot of money.
Yeah.
It was like over $200, but I was like, this is nice and it'll last a while. So keep me warm tonight.
Got the nice little maroon logo too.
Yeah, 3 years later, I'm wearing it. It's a nice little sweater jacket.
It's great for this time of year because you wake up and it's like chilly out. Then it gets to be like 60. You're like, damn, I'm kind of hot. And then by the time you're coming home, you're like, now I'm freezing my ass off again.
Light hoodie.
Yeah. But yeah, it's good. I like the city's got a buzz to it. Obviously, everyone's excited about the Phils. I feel like Philly sports has been in a bit of a, turmoil right now with the way the Sixers season's panning out.
It feels like we're kind of in purgatory here with the Sixers situation kind of uncertain. The Flyers are kind of hanging on to a playoff spot.
Yeah. Phillies, you're coming in. I mean, they are the best team in town right now on paper. Active. We'll see what the Eagles do, obviously. But the Phillies, it's good to have them back. Healthy Harper. But, yeah, feeling good, man. Weather's good. The only other update I have is news out of Punxsutawney today. Punxsutawney Phil had two babies.
Oh, shit.
Yet to be identified what he had. But I guess
he knocked Felicia up.
He had early spring because he was trying to getting bucked. Mm-hmm.
What's the rule if the Punxsutawney Phil has babies and retreats back into his...
He's like, fuck.
He already came out and seen his shadow.
They're not mine.
It's not mine. It's the other Punxsutawney Phil.
Yeah, it's the fucking lottery guy.
Gus?
Yeah.
Gus was in that hole?
Damn.
Yeah, they're going to have Gus and...
The money man.
Going to have Gus and Punxsutawney Phil have to come on the Maury show and do the paternity test.
Yeah, they'll have Felicia and the two babies sitting there, her bonnet on.
Yeah, it looks like you. The eyes look like you.
Yeah, right.
Except it looks like a raccoon. It's got like the little black thing. They're like, that's not a groundhog. What the fuck?
I love how they used to have a bunch of different sort of things on that show, and then it just became just that. That's all they do.
Yeah, that show was wild, yo. Daytime talk shows back in like the
Maury's,
90s and 2000s.
Yeah, that guy's a sadist, man.
Yeah, that show was on some other shit. Does
Jerry?
it still come on?
Jerry Springer?
Yo, Jerry used to be wild.
Oh, yeah.
People showing their tits and
Jerry was
shit.
the original.
The funniest is when you would see some kid on there who's like 8 years old, and he's like, yeah, I swear at my mom, and I don't give a fuck.
The out of control kids, and then they send them to that boot camp thing where some guy just yells at them for
on
a
some
while.
kind of farm and shit. I love the Mario where they're like, bring out the olives.
I remember,
this woman was terrified of
the
olives.
people with the weird fears. Yeah.
Bring out the olives. She's like, no.
Yeah, there was one like that. It was like that, like pickles. I remember Mario just being like,
God.
And here come the pickles.
And this big man just comes out with a vat of olives, and she's like mortified.
They always just run backstage. They follow them with the cameras.
Every time at a bar, I just want to yell that.
I remember one time they did the troubled, out of control kids thing where they send them to the boot camp, whatever. And I remember one time it was a bunch of kids that were into doing, like hard drugs and shit, like bad stuff.
Yeah.
And they had those kids, but then there was also just this other kid who all he did was smoke weed, and he was just kind of just the chill one, and just like, I don't know why I'm here. Like, I'm not that much of a problem.
He's getting straight A's.
Like, it's like I'm not.
It's just weed.
Yeah, he'd be fine now.
Damn. But yeah, they don't make them like they used to, like that.
None of them still come on, do they?
Maury, I think still is, but I think Maury's mostly about like just paternity tests. It's like it's so now, basic now. Oh. And then you got Dr. Phil, but it's like I don't watch it, but like that's all like the disgruntled kids yelling at their parents or
Dr. Fraud
doing whatever. That guy's a fucking psycho.
Yeah, he's like not. I don't think he has like his doctor isn't something that's not really psychology or anything, or you would yeah.
But yeah, man.
Anyway,
if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
But I don't know what we're gonna jump into first.
So we got a lot of shit.
We can save the exciting till the end. We could do
a few weeks.
We could do misery.
I feel like there's excitement all around, really.
Yeah.
Let's start with the Phillies.
Yeah, let's start with the Phils.
Yeah.
Good to have a healthy Harper for the first time in a couple years. So I think that's really a big key to a hot start.
You're declaring him healthy?
Compared to last year, I'm
playing,
saying. Yeah,
but
he's got a little back spasms
or
whatever.
This back stiffness thing isn't like, it's not nothing.
Yeah, but whenever you start hearing about people's back, that's a little like, ugh.
But it's not, well, you picture it this way, though. Okay, fine, it's back tightness or whatever. I'm cool with that. It's not coming off of Tommy John surgery. Like, the guy, he's already established.
There's a difference, yeah.
He's already at first base. I think the team as a whole is good and healthy. Rangers looking good. I'm surprised that MLB came out. We were ranked the number one bullpen, too, in the league, which is surprising to me. But but it's exciting. I think the pickups they made this year were phenomenal. I think having Schwarber just be solely DH and not have to be fielding elevates our defensive play in the outfield already. No more getting hit in the head with balls and running to the fence and looking like a fucking Three Stooges out there.
I'm going to miss Schwarber because like he had to run so many balls down the outfield. He had that Babe Ruth run. Yeah. he's probably going to be a little healthier. We're not going to see him like paddling around the bases as much.
So it's exciting, man. I think I'm really impressed with Rojas too. I feel like that he earned the roster spot. I think that he
he's
really
officially
put in
the starting center fielder. There's a lot of debate for a while there in spring training whether it was going to be him or Christian Pache.
Yeah,
but I kind of like them going with Rojas. I think he has the upside, and he's still kind of a black hole at the plate, but hopefully he can develop there. But in the meantime, you have a real difference-making center fielder, which I feel like we haven't really had in a long time. Someone that's
Victorino,
someone who's actually going to save you runs and isn't
Speed,
just
good arm.
They've had a lot of guys who are just fine and serviceable. Like Brandon Marsh is trying to put out there in a pinch.
He's a great left fielder.
Yeah, but Pache really, Rojas really makes a difference out there in center.
And I think that was a sign of Dave Dombrowski. Really, I mean, he called him out last year in the playoffs because he kind of shit the bed. And Pache, damn, I got me fucked up. Rojas took that to heart, and you could see in his training videos, it kind of reminded me of like Ben Simmons, where like, all right, he's in the gym, he's getting bulk, but like, we'll see what he does. The defensive mindedness never was a falter of his game, but I'd be curious to see his bat. I think he hit a home run or two in spring training in his couple outings that he had, which looked great. So I'm excited for him to come in with that mentality of proving it. And to Dave Dombrowski's point, okay, worst case scenario, you have someone in the 7 or 8 spot that isn't consistent batting. It's the first 1 through 6 that are spent that are $800 million worth of cap right there.
Like if you're if your 9-hole hitter not hitting well is the reason why you're losing games, then like something's
when
wrong.
You have Trey Turner, Castellanos, Framuto, Harper, like okay.
The other thing is too, right? If he really does struggle, they have options. It isn't just okay.
Yeah, it's not like we're stuck there.
Rojas sucks. We got to call someone up. I mean, you have Pache, you have Whit Merrifield, who
utility.
I mean, Whit Merrifield. Yeah, last year, did he probably hit to play too much and did his batting average suffer? Sure, but when he played the right amount, he was hitting 300. Yeah. He was slashing like 300, 350, like 450 or something along those lines. So yeah, you figure between him and Marsh, you can platoon, and then you can get the other at-bats from Pache and whoever else. But that's if Rojas really falters. I don't think he will, but his spring training numbers weren't super encouraging. At the same time, it's spring training. He's trying some new things out. I think the objective the Phillies set for him was to work on not striking out. So he was probably focused on that in spring training.
And I'm okay with you, feeling out. And at that point, it's not like it's your 3 or 4 spot where you can force double plays. At that point, you hope that it's an okay thing to ground out or fly out. But he's still a young buck. I mean, he's still a work in progress. And it's a promising thing to see that you're going to have. Also, what a lucky guy to be able to develop with that locker room. I mean, you got guys like Harp. I mean, they're going to be helping him out left and right in there. It was good to see. Always good to see Charlie Manuel down there in Florida helping everybody out too. So
Charlie recovering from a stroke, doing good.
Yeah, looking great. Yeah. But yeah, it's an exciting time. I think other thing to note too, big kudos to Aaron Nola too for stepping down and letting Zach Wheeler get the helm for opening day. It's the first one in like 5 years that he hasn't pitched.
Like 7.
Yeah, or whatever it is. Yeah. So it should be good to see. And I'm really excited to see Ranger this year where he's healthy and not, nursing that arm. Because I think he could be
I think he's going to be our second best pitcher.
I think he's a potential for a Cy Young out of the NL if he stays healthy and can produce, to be honest with you. The way
definitely a Gold Glove.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of the best fielding pitchers in baseball. But I think if you look at his spring stats, Ranger pitched 15 innings in the spring, 0 hits, 0 runs, 5 hits, 4 walks, 16 Ks.
Yeah. He was killing it.
That's dynamite.
He lightened it up.
And and think people are starting to realize how good he is. They realize how good of a fielder he is. He pitched his ass off the last couple postseasons.
He rang the bell of the Sixers game last night. He's really becoming one of the guys.
He's getting national fame. Ranger's going to earn himself a big contract here soon, and I think it's deserved. I think, dude, he's going to be an all-star this year.
I think that's a good bet to make. I think that it's warranted. I think he's been on that trajectory. I mean, had he not been hurt last year, he probably would have been on that same page because he came out of the World Series on fire. I mean, that last stretch.
Yeah, I mean, he's been the last couple of these playoff runs. He's been one of our most reliable guys.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. I mean, he doesn't really have the I don't know, like the think of like the pedigree or like the big name or whatever. But you always felt good when he was on the mound in these big playoff games. So
he also doesn't have like that big of a repertoire in terms of pitches, but like he's surgical with them. I mean, he's great on the mound.
Yeah, he doesn't need like overwhelming stuff.
He throws hard enough.
Yeah.
He's a lefty, so he has that working for him.
And he has that
swag.
Lefty,
he has that swag to him too. I've never seen a guy so nonchalant when the ball comes back
he's
to
the
him.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he adds that little presence too, which you don't see a lot.
It's also great to have in the playoffs. A guy he doesn't get rattled or anything. You know.
Yeah, I like a Ranger.
But yeah, man, I'm pumped. Also, shout out Rhys Hoskins. He looked pretty good in his spring training too for Milwaukee. He looked miserable though for the team pictures, which was a shame. But you know,
Yeah.
I mean, he's not with his boys anymore.
yeah, it happens. But he had a couple big bombs in spring training, which I was like, damn. But you know, I'm excited for this Phillies team. I think the expectations are at the height higher than they've been, honestly, the last 3 years. They got a sour taste in their mouth, which is good. So hopefully they can come out here and have a hot start. You don't want to see them come out here with the acquisitions that they've made, the health that they're at, and falter. But they're going to have a big wake-up call in the first 4 games here, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, you get the Braves first. You get the Reds after that. And the Reds were pretty solid last year. They make the playoffs.
Yep.
But
Young,
they were in
scrappy
it till the
team.
end, and they had some good young players, man. So it's going to be tough. But I think Philly should come out of this. They usually play well at home early on in the season. Taking 2 out of 3 from the Braves, I'm calling it here.
Yeah.
Spencer Strider and his dumbass mustache. We ain't scared of him.
Little bitch ass.
Who's the Braves number 2? Max Fried. We owned his ass in the playoffs. We ain't scared of him either.
No, I'm
Chris
not.
Sale, he's washed, dude. He might as well be Chris on sale. We coming for that ass, dude.
Chris discount.
It only depends really on the bats. I mean, I think that we've owned but in high pressure games, I will say, in the playoffs, we've pretty much dismantled that whole pitching core anyway the last 2 years for Atlanta.
We ain't scared of them.
It's more so, can our pitchers do their thing? And like you said with the stats with Ranger, and even Wheeler's stats are impressive too, spring trading. If they're still checking out that way, we should have a pretty fun stretch here, which would be nice to see. Good, convincing wins.
Yeah.
You know, have Turner back, no slump. He's starting hot. You know, it should be a pretty explosive game tomorrow, is what I'm thinking.
And it's all about the good start. The last couple seasons, we've gotten off to terrible starts.
Yep.
50 games in 2 years ago. We were 21-28, and even last year we weren't lighting the world on fire. So, yeah, I mean, this year you figure the Phillies can get off to a strong start. They should be able to ride that wave. Hopefully they ride it to first place in the NL East.
And they better have a new fucking song. I don't want to hear that song anymore.
I think it's going to be this song.
Yeah, I don't think it's going anywhere.
God.
It's not up to us. It's up to them.
The Eagles, even after they won the Super Bowl, Dreams and Nightmares was their song for a couple years after that. I think we're riding the same wave. Difference being, of course,
We
Phillies
won.
didn't win,
Right.
but they made it pretty far with it. So you do remember last year when they tried to
I mean,
switch
if they
the
had-
song up
Yeah.
and they weren't winning, so they switched
Yeah.
back.
If they had used the Robin version, I think we're looking at back-to-back rings by now. But I know it's just me.
Yeah, the what's this guy's name?
Like
What?
something like Callum something or was
yeah,
it something?
I don't remember his name.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. I think
Yeah.
he's like a European guy. Or
Yeah,
some shit.
I don't fucking
he
know.
doesn't do the original
Whatever.
justice,
No.
in my opinion.
But yeah, high hopes for the Phillies.
High hopes.
Yeah, man.
He had high hopes. Like
I'm thinking at least 4 dingers tomorrow for the Phils.
4.
Yeah.
4. That's a lot.
That's the odds on that probably going to
That's
be
a lot
like
of dingers.
plus 700. It's going to be windy as hell tomorrow.
Yeah, in the
Depends
right,
on which way it's blowing.
yeah,
I
in the
guess.
right way,
I
blowing that ball
guess.
right out of here.
Blowing them
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah, I got 4 in my head.
Okay. Yeah, I'm feeling good about tomorrow. What do y'all think about the season? What I've been seeing on like power rankings for like ESPN, The Athletic, Fox Sports, they had the Phillies as the 3rd best team in the NL East, or the NL. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
second best in the NL East. People
Yeah.
still have the
So
Braves ahead of us.
Braves and the
Yeah.
Dodgers, I guess.
Yep.
Probably the first
Yeah.
2. Yeah, that sounds about right to me. I mean, I think I like the Phillies' chances against either of those teams, but those teams are very fucking good. So
Yeah.
like I don't I don't really take offense of that.
I think it checks out. It's a good spot to be in. I mean, they also had the last 2 years, even with the rosters that they've have had tremendous slumps
until Shohei Ohtani gets sent to prison for
who knows?
We'll get to that later, I guess.
But yeah, I think it's a good spot to be in. I think top 3 is okay, especially like to your point, Trevor. Like LA, I mean, they're both of those guys have had 100+ wins in the last 2 seasons, so like it checks out fine. I mean, we know what we can do in the playoffs, so as long as we get in, we'll be okay no matter at what point we get in. But I think they should be at the top, of the leaderboards this year for sure. But it depends on how they start, and if we have that midseason slump where you go, you're losing games to people that you should be beating the whole time, and they've done that the last 2 years. So yeah, we deserve a 3 or 4 spot.
Yeah, I mean, I won't disagree. The interesting thing is a lot of these pundits have us making it to the World Series and some having us winning it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think they've seen that the Phillies turn it on. I think they understand that home field advantage in Philadelphia makes a difference compared to other teams. And the Phillies just need to get into the dance, and then they'll make their way through it, and they'll make their way to the front of the stage. But
yeah, I mean, it's also, if you just figure the way that baseball playoffs go, it's always this kind of a bit of a dice roll with how the playoffs are going to shake out. But if you're able to keep bringing back a team that's that good year after year after year, it's like eventually the odds are
they're going to crack.
At some point you're going to crack it. I mean, that's kind of how I felt about when the Dodgers finally won theirs during the COVID season or whatever.
Yeah, the Braves.
That was like the fourth or the fifth where they were like right up in it, and it's eventually, So we got another shot at this year.
But here's the deal, though. I kind of have 2010, 2011 Phillies vibes at the same time. Like, I feel good about this team, but I felt good about those teams too.
Yeah.
And Pat, to your point, the Phillies, you don't want them to go into a slump where the bats just suck. Those 2010, 2011 teams, they were supposed to be built on offense. The bats slumped for much of the season. They ended up being built on pitching and defense.
Yeah.
Like, they made it to the playoffs, and they made it... I mean, I guess 2011, they didn't make it far at all. 2010, they made it to the NLCS. And, I don't know, man. I have this weird vibe that, like, I don't want to say the window's closed, but the window might be closing already. Maybe it's me.
I mean, you're talking about a team that's now 3 years into this, since we got Harper, I guess the start of that window opened up. And, you've added JT, Trey Turner, Casty, Schwarber. You brought in Wheeler. Rangers developed nicely. I think, though, to your point where, those early, I guess mid-2000 teams, 2010, 2011, where they were built on offense, but then the defense and pitching carried us, I think that the front office has done their part in trying to get ahead of that already, where they kept Wheeler, they kept Nola, they built a good bullpen. You can move Schwarber to just DH. They developed their outfield where you got Rojas, Pache, and Marsh out there. You got Merrifield, who could also be a utility guy out there on defense. So, you probably anticipate a little bit of a slump because, you hope it doesn't happen. But history, as you've seen the last couple of years, it probably will happen, unfortunately. But at least this time they're prepared for that, where they shouldn't be getting smoked. You could probably get a close game and sneak some of those games out that you would have lost a year or two ago. But to your point, you can't keep this bankroll for 10 years. So
guys are getting older.
Yeah, I mean, Schwarber's coming up on the end. I think Cassie's coming up on the end.
For a catcher, JT's old.
Yeah, so I think that, the window is closing, but I think this is probably like the eye of the storm of the hurricane. Like, everything is kind of aligning this year where people are more healthy than they were the last 2 years. Your bullpen's deeper than it's ever been, and your defense is young and quick. Cassie isn't the youngest one, but 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
He holds it down, though.
Yeah, he's a great defenseman, and I think, putting Harper to first was a great adjustment last year. Him having that experience is only going to help him be better. I think, the window is now. And
yeah, I think the window's still open. I think the window may end up closing sooner than we think. I don't think it's this year. But if things really go bad, it could be like by the end of this year, we're like, oh, we don't really have a whole lot left here.
Well, I'd be hard-pressed to believe the roster could get any better than this year. Like, you might lose somebody and bring somebody in. I mean, I think Soto actually is up for a deal next year.
Juan Soto, yeah. He only signed a 1-year deal.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like how many, I know they don't mind taking the fees and stuff like that, but like they've busted their nut right now on this roster. This is the best roster we've seen, even in those early 2000s when we won. Just in the sheer ability of these guys to have Turner, Harper.
The only roster I'd say rivals is the 2011, where you had Halliday,
the four
Yeah.
aces,
Lee,
Yeah.
Oswalt, Hamels, Howard, Utley, Rollins,
Yeah.
Worth, like that roster. Ibanez was
Big
good
time.
then.
But those guys were also, you bring up Howard and Utley at that time. Like, they're coming down, they're,
I mean, they were about the same age. Like Howard and Utley were like 31,
Yeah.
32, you know what I mean? Which that's about how old Realmuto's older than that, I'm pretty sure.
yeah.
Like Cassidy's about that age. Harper, I think 31, Trey's 30, 31.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like when you think about it, the window it could close sooner. It depends on how these guys age.
And it depends on what they do at the end of the season. But I think right now the window at least is still open. We're not closing it yet. It might be slowly closing, but it's their prime. You got this year to really prove what this team has tried to do developmental wise from bringing all these guys in and breaking the bank. So this is their prove it or, put out or shut up the moment.
Yeah, I mean, largely I feel pretty good about it. It just, I don't know, man. I felt pretty good about the Phillies in 2011.
Yeah, no, it
then
has
after
the
that,
build up.
it all went downhill.
Yeah.
2 years in 2013, they were ass.
Anytime you have expectations like that, you can always get ready, especially in Philadelphia.
Dream team.
Yeah,
Come
you
on,
can get
man.
kind of burnt that way, but it looks on paper right now. Yeah, I mean, it checks out. The regular national media is also on board with the Phillies looking good. So all we could do is see how they come out. They come out tomorrow and they shit the bed.
I'm feeling good about tomorrow.
But we'll just see how it plans out. But they're in a phenomenal position, and I'm very excited to see what they do this year.
Cool.
We got anything else on them? What else we got here? They traded Jay Cave, that geezer.
Yeah.
Whatever.
What else? Matt
Extended
Strahm got extended. Taiwan Walker's on the IL.
He was talking about a bad spring training, though.
Dude,
that guy was
after he
ass.
was on Twitter at the end of the year last year saying how he should have played.
Yeah.
He was terrible.
I'm starting to dislike him.
Yeah.
He's making $72 million. He's making what is that? $18 million a year. You're not even ready for spring training. Then you have shoulder stiffness, and you were talking shit on Twitter in the playoffs.
Too much tweeting.
Miss me with that.
Yeah.
I'm surprised his thumb's not hurting from all the tweeting.
That's probably is. I'm not gonna lie. He's one
That's your favorite injury, not mine.
dumbass.
Hey.
Yeah. Well, we should probably move on.
Yeah, I wanted to berate Taiwan Walker some more. I'm kidding.
We'll wait till later.
We're fine.
In the
We'll wait
season.
till he makes his first start and he gives up like 8 runs in 2 innings. Then I'll berate him some more. He's going to be personal enemy number 1 on the team for me this year. Yes, sir.
All right. I guess we could maybe touch on the Eagles real quick. Not a whole lot going on here. The owners' meetings are...
Pat wasn't here when we had most of our free agency reactions. We
That's
didn't
true.
hear how he feels about Saquon.
Yeah. And also, we didn't get to talk about Devin White.
Yeah, Devin White.
Big pickup.
We skipped Devontae Parker. Not that I'm super excited about that.
Oh, yeah.
We got
Paris Campbell.
Oh, I forgot about him.
Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah, Pat, well, the big one, Saquon. How you feeling about that?
I think it's great. I mean, I think people comparing it. I see some people talk about comparing it to how, it's how San Fran was when they picked up Christian McCaffrey. And, yeah, it's great. Maybe if we picked up Saquon 2 years ago. But, the history of it is he's got some miles on those legs. The only thing I will say is that I think it's a great pickup. I think him playing, maybe, he's had a couple injuries in his career already, but he's never had an O-line like this, even without Kelsey at center. I think that he's going to have a tremendous, at least, opportunity to have a great year. I do miss Swift. I like Swift a lot. I think he gives you a little bit more out of the pass-catching ability.
Saquon can catch, too, though.
I understand, but I think Swift, I would have liked they kept Swift. But Saquon, I mean, not every team, people would be lucky to have Saquon like that. I think it's a really big pickup. The thing I'm impressed with the most really is how Howie has moved the cap around, where I think Dak Prescott's owed around $49 million this year. That's his cap hit.
It's like 55
or 50, something like that. I think he restructured it a little bit, but
the Cowboys are kind of in a.
But you look at how Howie has
spot.
in the same season that they're paying Dak $50 million or whatever it is. Howie has figured out a way to pay not only Saquon but AJ Brown, Dallas Goedert, Jalen Hurts, 2 other defensive players, all Josh Sweat, all for the same cap space as Dak Prescott. That to me is mind-blowing. I mean, I think this offseason has been tremendous with bringing in CJ again. You got Saquon. Devin White is a big pickup. If Howie can somehow figure out a way, and I know the writing might be on the wall already for Hassan being on the way out, but if he can somehow figure out how to keep Hassan Reddick, that would be an A+
No, go ahead. I was going to let you finish.
A-plus move in terms of a GM for off season, I think.
So I kind of, maybe this is a take. I think Hassan Reddick might end up still being here yet.
Yeah. I'm okay with that. That's what I'm saying.
Here's the thing, right? I mean, he reportedly has been looking for a trader. They've granted him permission to find a trade. It's been, like a month and a half at this point?
Yeah.
Nothing's popped off. Right? Like, his value, I don't think, is as high as he thinks it is around the league. Probably because he's older.
Yeah.
He's 30. He's slight of size for a pass rusher. Most of his games based on speed. And as you hit your mid-30s, you're going to lose that. So I think his value's low. And also think that he's going to make it ugly to where they have to let him go. I mean, he's home, right?
Yeah.
He's playing for a contender. Yeah, could he make a little more money? Yeah, but at the same time, I also feel like he's a guy that wants to win. I mean, I can't get in his head. I don't know if that's exactly what he's thinking.
Yeah.
But I don't think, unless he goes to, like, a training camp, it's like, I want out, like, get me out of here, unless he goes in front of the media. But he doesn't seem like that kind of guy. I think he'll play. He's home. He wants to win. He'll do what he has to do to win a Super Bowl for his family, for his friends, for the city.
For his hometown.
And then maybe next year he's like, okay, get me the hell up out of here. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion anymore that he gets traded.
No, but I also think that if it does, that's a point where, like, Howie right now, I think, has put together an A, maybe a B-plus rating in terms of offseason. I mean, he filled a lot of gaps. The two receivers that we just got, kind of inconsequential when you have Devontae and A.J. Brown. I mean, Paris Campbell, okay. Devontae Parker can't separate. I think he had the lowest ranking separation in the league. So, like, I mean, it is what it is. But you lose Quez and you lose Amalanga, whatever his name is. But, like, it's, you know, you got guys that are kind of body, just guys for, you know, to fill a roster spot. I'm sure there's some carryover of the Colts with Sirianni and Paris Campbell potentially.
Oh, for sure. He loves Paris Campbell.
But, you know, so we'll see how that pans out. But to get Devin White, to get CJ back, to restructure Sweat to make sure he stays, and to get a guy like Saquon for that much, I mean, you're not paying him that much money. And you got a guy that's hungry to win with a great O-line.
When you figure the cap went up, that's great maneuvering to get a running back. Like Howie was saying, like at the owners' meetings, like, running back, it's not like we ever devalued the position. He
had a great take on that, which I think people didn't appreciate.
It's like,
the amount of running backs that we've had.
Did we swing too far the other way where running back is devalued? He's like, we might have, but Saquon is a special player, a special person. Running backs have kind of become the market inefficiency in a way. And I think Howie's one of the first to exploit it. And like, you had running backs last year coming out saying, we're underpaid. Yeah. And they're going to have it come the pendulum swing back the other way, where it's like running backs are adequately paid. Then they're going to be overpaid. By then, we'll be off Saquon onto someone else. But why not set the market, get the best free agent running back available, one that completes the team?
I think it's a great pickup. I think it's tremendous. I think just in terms of just also like head games too, it's got to fuck with the Giants, which is great. You know, you spend all that money on Daniel Jones and you have no offense whatsoever now. You had at least Saquon to help you out, but you got Darren Waller.
He retired.
Washed.
He's done?
Oh, he retired.
Yeah, Waller retired.
He was washed last year. Okay, I didn't realize he was retired.
You got no, but that offense is ass. It's just Danny Dimes over there and fucking Cutlet Boy. But I think that it's great moves. Howie is, again, it's Howie season. He's popping off, doing his shit. And I think we do have a chance to keep Hassan. Like you said, he wants, I think, 25 mil?
I don't think he wants that much. I think he's looking for like low 20s.
Nah, I think he said 25. But I don't see us moving Hassan right now. I mean, it's warranted.
Just slipping a little under the table, you know. Keep it off the books.
In the problem, I mean, he's coming off of his two best seasons.
An extra $5 million in stakes.
I could see if we move him, it won't be an outright just, trade that way. I think this could be if we do move from him, it would be draft day trade.
That's the only way I see it.
I think it would be something like that.
Yeah. You move up.
Wait till like someone last 11th hour, someone gets a little desperate, overpays a little bit, put you back in the first round or something.
If you can get a first round pick for him and go for it.
Yeah.
Hell, if you can get a second and a fifth, what the Giants got for Brian Burns, I'd probably do that.
That was a robbery.
Yeah.
But anything beyond that, like if you're only getting like a third, he's staying, dude.
Fuck that.
He's staying.
And I think he should. I mean, you got that. Look at that defense now too. I mean, you got hopefully Carter comes back. Having those two championship back-to-back with the Bulldogs, those guys were definitely tired, a little fat and lazy, to be honest. Carter looked great, obviously, but Jordan Davis is a big
Carter
year.
slowed down too, though.
He
now.
did. Yeah, but it's a
And-
big year for them to come out. Jordan Davis is a big year for him to prove it that he can stay healthy and play at a high level the whole season.
Yeah, Nolan Smith, my boy.
With letting Cox run, I think that's a big testament to, hey, we're looking at you now to fill that gap. I think Nolan Smith has a great year, and you got Vic Fangio, which is both of those coordinators could be difference makers in the talent that we have. But all in all, very pumped about having Saquon Barkley.
Yo, we got to talk about Devin White too now.
Yeah.
What do
I
y'all
like
think
it.
of Devin White?
I mean, obviously, he did not have a good season last year. Lost his job. But, I mean, at least I think the potential is there. Like, we've seen this guy be very good, and he's not, like, old.
No.
And it's definitely a step up from their usual thing where they wait till the last week of training camp to just sign, like, whoever the fuck is still
We're getting
around.
35-year-old DeMeco Ryans.
Yeah, at least
for a year.
At least they're getting a guy who has proven that he has the ability to play at a very high level, and maybe with a new situation. I mean, I know last year he was kind of disgruntled there.
Yeah. He got benched.
So I mean, I feel like there's potential for him to be extra motivated. Maybe be trying to make a case for himself to get a bigger deal next year. So, I mean, worst case scenario, he's not that good, and we're, probably no worse than we were last year at linebacker, right? So
he had a former All-Pro. I mean, he has stud potential. I think being disgruntled, it's like anybody at work. As soon as you get like a bad review, you feel like you don't want to work there anymore. The quality of work that you do is ass. Your heart's not in it anymore. I think he's excited for a fresher breath there. Were they a playoff team last year? Yeah, Tampa Bay, but he's with a true contender now. I mean, if we didn't have that slump at the end of the season, we should have been in the championship game and playing for the Super Bowl potentially. So I think he's excited to be on a team like that finally. And we've kind of overlooked the linebacker position for a while. I mean, we brought in Kazir White and those guys 2 years back, and they played well, but they were mostly just kind of
lucked into that.
Yeah, they just happened to be really good tacklers, and that's all we needed, a linebacker. And I think that if you bring in a guy like Devin White, I think it's a sign that they definitely draft in the second round a linebacker, if not the first, but probably the second or third, have them develop. And I think they probably re-signed Devin White. If he has a good proven year, I have no doubt they bring him back. If he's that young and can play at a high level, they heighten up the cap, and you need a linebacker. This could solidify your linebacker core for at least the next 3 years with a solid guy that can run the defense.
Yeah, he's young enough that it would make sense that if he has a good year, bring him back on a 2 or 3 year deal. I will say, I know it's early to be talking draft. If the Eagles draft a linebacker in the first round, I will do 3 shots to 99.
It won't be first round.
Yeah,
no,
definitely the first round.
It won't be first. It won't be first.
I'll say the first 2. I don't even think it's the first 2. The third, I could see it.
Well, I think they have, 50 and 50. They have 2 or 3 picks in the second round.
I still don't see it.
I could see it. I mean, if Trotter Jr.'s there at 55.
I don't like him.
I'd pick him up.
I know this is episode 54. This is the Jeremiah Trotter senior episode. I don't want to talk too much about the draft. I'm not crazy about Trot Jr., but that's neither here nor there. We're talking about Devin White.
Yeah. I think it's a good pickup. I think that it's a great addition. At least you can tell how he's got his eyes on it. We've solidified the D-line the last couple of years, whether it be through free agency or the draft. Linebacker in his tenure really has been, except for Jordan Hicks drafting, all throughout free agency.
Yeah.
He hasn't really drafted a linebacker that's noticeable in years. He had Stuart Bradley for a minute.
Michael Kendricks was okay.
Kendricks was okay, but that was years ago.
2013, yeah, it was a decade ago.
I'm just saying, it's a long, 12 years
Yeah.
as a linebacker. That's an old, you're not going to get
that's a
that
long
shelf
time.
life. And he's not an Urlacher. We're like, okay, yeah, you draft a guy like Urlacher, 12-year career, no big deal. Kendricks was decent, but he wasn't lighting it up by any means.
Fair. All I'm saying is Devin White and Oren Burks, the guy we signed from San Francisco, are markedly better than Nick Morrow and Shaq Leonard.
I'd say.
So I feel pretty good about it.
Do we still have Cunningham at all?
He's a free agent.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if we bring him back.
He was decent. I mean, he got hurt, but he was
good.
good.
Of the linebackers we had last year, he was the best, and that was when he had to be.
Yeah.
Now he can kind of be that third linebacker. He can
run
be
defense and call it a day.
Yeah, he can be that. He was decent in pass coverage. He's got those long arms.
But you don't need him out there doing that shit. He's a true run defense guy.
I think he could come back, though, is my point. There won't be nearly as much of a spotlight on him, and he can kind of just blend in instead of having to be the linebacker. Yeah. You know what I mean? But
and you get Isaiah Rodgers coming back, which is kind of like a free agency ad this year. So
that was genius.
That's a big pickup, which should help everything else out.
And he's a gambling degenerate. I like him.
Yeah. So, yeah, I liked all the moves that they've been doing so far. Nothing that they did, I've been like, no, everything's been...
Yeah,
Howie Rose been cooks in this time of year.
What'd you think about Kenny Pickett?
Oh, yeah, shit, we haven't talked about that.
We picked up... I think that guy looks like Nick. I'm not going to lie. Every time I see this picture, I'm like, damn, that's funny as shit. When they were like, we just signed Kenny Pickett, I'm like, damn, we just got Nick on the team. You mean
our cute designer friend, Nick?
Yeah. But...
Nick's cuter than Kenny Pickett, in my opinion.
You know, solid.
Nick probably at least has bigger hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kenny Pickett has some tiny hands.
Solid backup. I mean, a local Philly, love Philadelphia, love the Eagles.
Yeah, Ocean County, he's local.
Also with that...
shout out Billy McGee. Billy listens to the pod. Ocean County. There we go.
Also with Pittsburgh, what's he going to do? You were the start of the last 2 years, and now you got Russell Wilson fucking Justin Fields.
That is wild.
Of course he wants out. So, I'll take him, whatever. It's better than Mariota.
Yeah.
So I'll take that. And they picked up the guy from, I guess he was at the Patriots last year, but Dallas's guy.
What's this guy's name? Will Greer.
Yeah.
Greer.
So
he's a Kellen Moore guy. I think he's kind of just going to be like the QB coach.
It gives me McDaniel, or what's it called? Like a McCown vibe.
Yeah, he's kind of like that.
Helping guys learn the playbook and shit like that, or a camp arm. But yeah, it's a good. Like I said, I think Howie loves this time of year, and I think he's done a tremendous job.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about it. Howie was
Hennessy, picked up Hennessy.
Oh, yeah, you missed it when we did the shots of Matt Hennessy. Or not of Matt Hennessy,
Whoa,
of Hennessy. For Matt Hennessy. We got to move on here.
What in the Saltburn?
What'd y'all think about what Sirianni had to say at the owners' meetings? He was saying hell yeah, we wanted Saquon. That makes sense, yeah. But then he was saying he hasn't been that involved in the offensive scheming yet. You believe him? I think I do, actually.
I don't really know what that means, to be honest with you. I mean, it's the
But that doesn't mean he couldn't be in Kellen Moore's ear.
I also don't think Saquon is, as reliable to a scheme. He's such a tremendous talent that he could, we run a still West Coast offense. So, whether or not Kellen Moore is going to develop this crazy-ass playbook or not, Saquon is going to fit into that no matter what.
That's true.
You get a guy like that who can pass, he can pass catch, he can run the ball fine, he can run north and south, do whatever.
He can pass block, which is big. Yeah.
You're good to go. It's not like when you had Sanders and it was like, oh, can he catch? We can only really run, or, he's fumble prone. Saquon, it doesn't matter what you're running that guy with. So I think that in this time of year, and it's Nick Sirianni, he doesn't really give you a whole lot of context with the shit that he says anyway.
He says a lot, but he says very little.
Yeah. So it is what it is. I didn't read too much of that. I was happy to hear Jeffrey Lurie's take on, not only Jalen Hurts, but Hassan and Nick Sirianni. Gave a good in-depth,
I like what he had to say about Nick Sirianni, actually.
So it was
Give me a little more faith. Because I was thinking the whole time, Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio were Lurie and Howie just telling Nick, no, you need to hire these people.
Yeah.
But for Lurie to say, no, those were Nick's guys. Nick came to me with a plan to fix it. I really respected it. I understood it. Vic and Kellen are his guys, and we stand behind him.
Yeah.
It's all right.
It's a great, talk about a great bailout.
That's a super strong endorsement from your owner. He's saying you came up with this plan. Let's see you fulfill it.
And that's what I'm saying right now. It's a B+A move right now. You got Sirianni doing his part, bringing in good coordinators for once, and you have Howie Roseman do what Howie Roseman does and robbing the league of all their talent.
Hey, we're doing good.
Yeah.
Now we got to talk about these rule changes.
Oh, yeah.
First, the tush push we hear.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Get loud, league. Y'all mad as hell.
Damn. And you got Saquon back there now, too.
You got 1,200 pounds being squatted between the QB and the running back. Y'all in trouble.
Even if you did get rid of the tush push, now you got Saquon. I mean, the quads on this, pass the center.
Dude, that's 1,200 pounds of squats between the quarterback and the running back.
I would not want to be that ball getting squished in that tush.
That's wild, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, the tush push is back, but we got to talk about...
Kickoff is fucking corny as shit, man.
You think
You don't
it's
like
corny?
it?
Yeah.
I like it.
I think it's corny.
It's going to result in way less touchbacks. There's actually going to be kickoffs now. With returns.
Here's the thing, right? Like, for people that don't know what we're talking about...
Yeah, explain
I'll read this. This is off of NPR. Under the new rules, the kicking team's kicker will continue to kick from the 35-yard line. But rather than be flanked by his teammates, the rest of the kicking team will line up at their opponent's 40-yard line, eliminating the traditional running head start. The returning team will field up to 2 fielders in the backfield, and the rest of the team will line up in a new quote-unquote setup zone between the 30 and 35-yard line. Besides the kicker and returners, no players from either side will be allowed to move until a returner touches the ball or till the ball hits the ground. Fair catches, which we saw a lot of, in which a returner could signal that they could catch the ball but not attempt a return, will no longer be allowed. Eliminating the fair catch makes such a difference.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, some teams are still going to boot the ball through the end zone, but also you can get a competitive advantage if you kick it and they catch it at, say, like the 20 and they, for whatever reason, botch the return. That's 10 yards of field position you gain as a defense. I think it brings a whole lot more strategy, and it also makes the kickoff a fun play instead of just this nominal play that happens.
Just this formality where they just kick it as far as you can, boot it right through the end zone, and for a touchback every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it makes it a lot more interesting.
I'll wait till I see it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a fucking kickoff. I don't know. I mean, good for the league, I guess, for making up this rule. I think it's pretty inconsequential at the moment. We'll see what happens when it pans out.
We'll have to see what it looks like. In theory, it sounds cool.
Yeah,
but a guy like Elliott's still going to put that shit to the end zone, unless, like you said, you try to.
Strategically, you can gain a strategic advantage.
But that could also bite you in the ass, though. If you boot it to the 5-yard line, they catch it.
That's part of the fun of the game.
Well, if you,
I understand.
I mean, if you, I think if you boot it through the end zone, then they just get it at like the 35.
They get it at the 30.
Oh, the 30 now?
Yeah.
Well, then, all right. Well, maybe it's a little different then. They should put a rule where if you can put it through the fucking field goal, though, you get a point on kickoffs.
Yeah, when I would be playing Madden, I would always try to do that.
Hell yeah.
I'd always be like, all right, I'm going for
Especially when I'm in a dome and get the wind to your back. I'm like, oh, I got it now.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting move. The one I think that's going to really fuck the league up is this drop tackle one.
I don't like it.
I don't think it... I understand that there's been a lot of guys that got hurt that way. You look at Mark Andrews, for instance, where that drop tackle got him. But then you look at, I've seen a lot more videos where tackles that were surefire tackles in the league last year would have been called a flag now and given it somebody, 15-yard, what is it, a 15-yard penalty and a free set of first downs or whatever it is. Like, I don't know, man.
And I just think in real time, the speed of the game, I think it's pretty hard to identify which ones are technically hip drop tackles and which ones are just...
it's like a horse collar.
And which ones are just good low tackles.
Yeah.
Because I've seen a lot of people posting these videos around social media and stuff being like, oh, this is going to be outlawed next year. And then all the replies are like, that's not a hip drop tackle. And it's like, there's clearly confusion about what counts as that and what doesn't. And obviously the officials are supposed to know better, but I mean... Do we really trust them to know better?
No.
And I just feel like we're going to see a lot of great 4th down, 3rd down stops get erased by this rule.
Yep.
And
big time. It's going to kill the game.
Not to mention the players' union was against this.
I saw that. Yeah.
So that kind of neutralizes the whole player safety argument if they're not even for it.
Right.
I think it's going to be around for like a year or two.
I think it might be. I think it might be for a year, and then they decided it was a bad idea. But I'm definitely not looking forward to even more flags.
How do you hit?
I'm turning to fucking Trump when he was like, "They're ruining the game." They're ruining the game.
This is like unnecessary. Or I shouldn't say it's unnecessary. I understand player safety and trying to make sure that guys don't get injured, but at the same time, this is going to be so hard to police. That the amount of times they call it, it's going to become unnecessary.
Well, the players' point, the reason why they didn't vote for it is because they said that it's going to cause potentially more injuries for guys second-guessing or hesitating on how to tackle now. Because instead of just having it be a fluid motion of hitting a guy, you can't spear anybody. So you have to kind of do the hip drop a little bit or at least use your body weight to get them on the ground without killing a guy. You're going to end up having guys that are kind of crawling.
Yeah, you might end up having just people dive into someone's knees because they're like, oh, I can't grab them.
That's what they're going to do now. So you're going to see a lot more ACL tears and buckled. Look up fucking Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
I mean, will you want more tackles like that? Or do you want...
Oh, that was gruesome.
That's what I'm saying. That's what you're going to end up getting here. And it's just, it makes the defensive player's job almost impossible right now.
Yeah, I mean, it feels a lot like this is just the owners, caring more about portraying the appearance of caring about player safety as opposed to actually caring about player safety.
It is very performative.
The only rule I did like was the challenge rule. They did update that too.
Oh, where if you win your first challenge, you get another one.
Before, kind of like what they did in the NBA.
If you won 2 challenges, you'd get the third. Now it's if you win the first, you get another one.
Yeah. Okay. So I like that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But the hip tackle is, I don't know. You'll see it, I guess, in preseason. You got all the fucking guys trying to get a job. That'll be the real test to see how it works out. But I don't know. I don't get it at all.
I think it's just going to be too hard to manage.
It definitely is.
I just think it's too...
They can't even fucking call pass interferences right when people are looking at each other the wrong way, let alone tackle.
Think about how many horse collars are called that aren't horse collars.
Right.
It's going to be this. It's going to be that.
And that to me is a lot easier to identify than this.
Yeah, this is going to be like.
Because at least you can see is a guy
steroids.
Actually grabbing into his pads. This is just. I mean, there's lots of good just lower body tackles that are going to get called when they shouldn't. I think.
And at the end of the day, it's tackle football. People are going to get hurt. You're going to get weirdly rolled up on or blow your knee out, or it's just the name of the game, which is unfortunate, but you can't avoid it. And people that play the game understand that. They're not. It's the fact that the NFLPA said no, we don't want to put this rule into play, and the owners are still like, yeah, we're going to do it. Well, then what the fuck is the point of the NFLPA then? If you're not going to listen to them and you're still going to do your own rules, that negates.
I mean, the whole thing is just performative. It's just bullshit.
It's stupid.
But, okay.
They didn't pass the Eagles rule. I did see they wanted to add milliseconds to the clock in the last when it.
See, I like that.
I like that too.
What is this one?
When it didn't pass, but they offered a rule where when it gets down to the final 2 minutes of the game, either first half or second half, when it gets below a minute, you add milliseconds to the clock to give you more time. So if you call timeout, you could feasibly have 15.6.
You see it in the NBA.
Yeah, the shot
clock.
So
the NBA, when the clock gets to under a minute left, you know how it'll go from just 59, 58 to 59.9 to 59.8, 59.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Add a millisecond
just to make it more specific.
Yeah.
No, I thought you meant actually adding time to the...
No,
it's just
taking
just 30
into account the tenths.
Just to make the count a little more accurate.
The tenths of the minute.
Yeah, I don't really see what's wrong with that.
I don't get it either.
It didn't get enough credit.
I think there was... I heard about this a couple of years ago. The reason the league is so obstinate against it is because they'll have to rebuild the clocks in every stadium for that.
Because they don't have enough money to do that shit.
Y'all are a billion-dollar organization. Right. The NFL is a probably a $1 trillion league at this point. You mean to tell me you can't do that? Whatever.
Yeah. Expensive clocks.
But yeah, man, go Birds. Fuck Dallas. I'm hype.
Yeah. I guess we were talking about review. We were talking about the NBA. We can talk about the Sixers.
Yeah.
I mean, not a whole lot to say about the Sixers of late.
All I got to say is you're a bitch, your dad's a bitch, your grandma's a bitch.
That was the funniest thing, dude.
That almost made losing the game worth it, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, I was cracking up. Yeah. He walks up like Nick Nurse. First of all, Nick Nurse is like, fuck you.
Yeah, they were all fucked up.
That's fucking bullshit. Then you just see Kelly Oubre behind him. You're a bitch, you're a bitch, you're a bitch.
Okay.
Got it? Okay. Your mama's a bitch, your daddy's a bitch, your grandma's a bitch. And then you see Max, in that clip, you see Maxie just grinning from ear to ear. He's like, oh my God. Yeah, that was the funniest thing, dude. It did make losing that game worth it. I was cracking up. I watched the video 15 times.
Yeah,
and
that shit was hysterical.
Kelly is funny as hell, but to be fair, I mean, they shouldn't have.
They had a right to be mad.
But
clearly got fouled.
Did they come out the next day? They were like, yeah, that should have been a foul. There should have been a foul.
Yeah,
right after the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, minutes after the game, they reviewed that and said it should have been a foul. And it's whoop, sorry.
Whoops.
Whoopsies.
But, I mean, hey, we beat the Clippers 1 out of 2 times. We beat them in L.A.
Yeah.
Fuck James Harden.
Frauds. Yeah.
They are fraudulent as hell. Tobias Harris, big fraud. I'm not even going to read Toby's stats. That's become a thing here.
I don't think we even
He's
need
been
to.
So
I think we all get it.
You might as well just delete that Toby time shit, too.
Yeah, I'm never going to play that again. I have to alter it.
Yeah, Toby goodbye time. Down, I don't know.
Damn.
But, that game was wild, dude. Yeah, the refs did not help matters, but the Sixers did some really dumb shit at the end of that game.
Yeah, some weird, play calls and stuff just didn't.
Maxey falling.
Yeah, they were lucky that didn't get reversed. I thought when the Clippers challenged that, I thought for sure that was going to get reversed. Just the way things were going for us in that way. Like, I was surprised that held up. All right, he definitely just slipped. But I guess when you see it, he did get touched there.
Barely.
But that's not what caused him to go down. But technically, it was a foul. Contact. Yeah, but
And then, Buddy Hield bailed them out with that three. Yeah, Batum was in the corner buried and just chucked it to him like he shoots a 30-footer. Like, their offense, their offensive and defensive execution late in the game was just ass, dude.
Maxey fell off, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they let Kawhi get 2 and 1s.
If you're going to foul someone,
you
foul him. Make sure he doesn't make the
score.
Jumper,
exactly.
Or make the layup or
just,
whatever.
Either do that or just let him score and get the ball back. Don't let him get 3.
Yeah, that was
really infuriating.
Then, Maxey, the second to last play of the game, why is he standing in the backcourt 60 feet from the bucket? And, not even running towards anything. He's just standing there. You mean to tell me the best thing you get is Kelly? Granted, Kelly did get fouled, but that's the best shot you can get. And your best player is just uninvolved in the play.
Yeah.
What the hell is that? So, I don't know, man. I know Embiid we'll talk about in a second. He's supposed to be coming back very soon. The late game execution still leaving a lot to be desired. Embiid's not the best with late game execution to begin with. We've seen that for years. And late in games, he kind of chokes. Love the guy, but he just never comes. No, I shouldn't say never. Seldom.
He's had moments.
Seldom comes through late in the clutch. He's hit the game winner against the Raptors, game winner last year. I forget who was against the Heat or the Blazers. We hit the turnaround. He's had some big moments.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The late game execution. We saw it with Brett Brown. We saw it with Doc Rivers. We're seeing it with Nick Nurse. Just what the hell?
Yeah, it's a tough stretch. But like Lowry said, well, what's one thing the team misses? He said a 7-foot center. You miss that impact. And that's really what it comes down to. A lot of these games that they lose, it's heartbreak, whether it's a foul here or whatever, late game execution. We're talking... The games that they lose that are most frustrating are ones that they lose by 5 or 6 or 1. It's with Embiid, it's a whole different game, and you win those games.
Yeah, they probably destroy the Clippers with Embiid.
So
sure.
But that's what sucks is that okay, we haven't had Embiid for months now. You still can't get over that. They did great when they were in LA. Kudos to them then. It's just really hard to watch. It's painful to watch.
Yeah, they need
you're
back.
You can win. We have the talent to beat these teams. And they just are missing this shit by a shot here or there.
What's encouraging is you've seen a couple things happen. I did just kind of say Maxey falling and not touching the ball was the reason that they lost. But at the same time, right, you've seen some games the second half of that Clippers game on Sunday where Maxey just took over.
Yeah.
He's learned how to beat defenses when they're really scheming for him a little more, which is going to make Embiid's load lighter when he comes back.
Big time.
Theoretically in the playoffs. You'll have 2 guys that can be the double team. 2 guys that can take a defense and just warp it on its side, right? And that is encouraging. I don't know, man. I don't have a great feeling after watching their late game execution.
It's going to be ugly. When Embiid comes back, it's not going to be oh, wow, the team, here we go.
No, he's going to be on a minutes restriction. I don't think people realize that.
It's going to be
He's not going to come back playing 36 minutes a game.
It's going to be an ugly comeback. But whatever minutes you get with Embiid, you're better with him than without him. And we'll just see what Embiid we get. I don't know. It leaves you with a really big question mark of where this team's going to go, whether they're playing or they get in the playoffs normally outright. But I don't know. It's tough.
I feel like they're a playing team. They still very much have a shot at the 6th seed.
They have the third easiest schedule remaining.
Yeah, right.
But I think Miami also has the second easiest.
But they play Miami.
Okay, yeah.
We play Miami next Tuesday, I think.
So that'll be a big game.
So yeah, we play Miami, and that could be huge as far as standings go. And Miami, their schedule's easy, but they've dropped some very winnable games the same way we have. The thing is, they don't. Yeah, I guess Jimmy Butler could come back. Jimmy Butler makes a difference. He's not the same difference maker as Embiid is for us. So it's going to be interesting to see. either way, though, us and Miami is the battle for 7 or 8. Indiana's in 6. And, like, we need to pass them to stay out of the play-in.
Yeah. Their schedule's a lot tougher.
Yeah, it's going to be, that's right. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. I still think we're a play-in team, but
could be close. I mean,
the Sixers Twitter account tweeted Embiid eating the apple of the day.
Yeah. Then Embiid posted that thing on Instagram of him coming out of the sand. So it seems like he's going to be playing soon.
Yeah, so
traveling with the team is a good sign. Back in practice is a good sign.
I think he comes back.
Game time is then you'll see what you really got.
And based on what I've heard, regarding this injury, is that he has gotten more time off than most people do with this like surgery. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, to me, like, the injury part is not really the concern. It's just a matter of can he ramp up in conditioning.
Just
the conditioning, can he actually be in game shape?
He's not going to come back and aggravate it. He's just going to be tired.
Like, there's no higher risk now than there's going to be 2 years from now or next year. Like, it's the same. Like, that is what it is. It's just a matter of, is he going to be in game shape? And then, if I'm putting on my rose colors, Sixers colored glasses, you could say, well, maybe this is a kind of a good thing. He's had all this time off. He's not going to be like worn down at the end of the season like he has been certain times. Maybe
that's probably what they were thinking.
Maybe he like comes back, gets like a week or two to get ramped up, and he's just like balls to the wall during the playoffs,
dropping 40 points every game.
In a perfect world, but that's kind of like
that's
the trade-off.
Like the best case scenario, but that could happen.
That's the trade-off that they kind of had though, like right where you get that surgery, they committed to the surgery, and like you said, they're looking like they're going to make the playoffs no matter what without Embiid playing, whether you're playing or you sneak in. So I think that helps where like they had such a good enough lead off when he did get hurt that like the team isn't terrible. They've had some upsetting losses. They're going to make the playoffs in one way, shape, or form. And to your point, Trevor, if you can just give Embiid, if you're okay with being either a lower level seed or a play-in seed, what's the point of rushing Embiid back just to get hurt?
I mean, they may end up having to play Boston the first round, but you're going to have to play him at some point anyway, so fuck it. If it's the first round, it's the first round.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, the way the history of the Sixers playoff hopes have been anyway, it's like, fuck it, get it out of our way now then if we're going to lose. Or you have an even crazier thing where Embiid comes back and jumps to fucking 40 points a game on Boston and knocks them out of the playoffs. Then you're looking like, oh, shit, that is some nutty ass. My nipples are hard right now just thinking about that. But, I'm just saying, that obviously probably won't happen. But, more rest is better. The knee's looking good. He comes back, looks rusty probably for the first 2 outings. Could come out and start doing what he does best. But the team misses that piece for sure, with or without 35 points, even if he only gives you 15 or 20 something.
I mean, defensively, you miss him. You miss his rebounding.
We're just a small team without him.
Kind of just miss his presence, right?
Paul's been doing great without it.
Mo Bamba's been okay.
Hooping, I will say.
Yeah, he's been okay.
He had his first double-double since he was with the fucking Lakers.
Yeah, he was doing good last night.
So I think
neither of those guys is him.
No one is Embiid.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you have Jokic on the fucking bench right there, there's no one that compares to Embiid when he's out. I mean, that is just facts right there. And the team is still pretty much a bunch of kind of guys that you hope work out together.
They're pieces that haven't played with him. Like Buddy Hield hasn't played with Embiid, and he's the one that stands to benefit most. Kyle Lowry should benefit from him a lot.
It should open up the team as a whole. But I think that, they sneak into the playoffs wherever they end up, wherever they may land. And, I think Trevor's onto something there where I think that they've been waiting for him just because his historical value in the playoffs is usually you're rushing back.
Yeah.
You're rushing back for the last 3 games of the regular season. Something happens where he gets fucking poked in the nose or some bullshit like that. And then the knee also is hurting for some reason. And then you get into like, you get midway through the fucking series and you're like, why is he hurt all of a sudden? We're like, he's had off damn near 3 months now? 2 months?
Yeah.
I mean, that shit.
It'll be about 2.5.
Yeah. So, and you figure the rest of this month and probably half of April. Yeah. I mean, I feel optimistic, but I'm also realistic as well that it could be a pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, if they play Boston, they're out in the first round. But if they play anyone else, if they get Milwaukee or Cleveland, they're going to the second round.
Speaking of Milwaukee, poor Pat Bev though about to miss. He's out 3-4 months with a ankle injury or wrist injury.
That's what he gets for talking shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I still love Pat Bev, but he would admit that's karma. He was talking too much shit.
Yep.
But
too many hand jobs.
You said it, not me.
No comment.
Yeah, I don't have anything else on the Sixers. Just you a bitch. You a bitch. You a bitch. Okay? Your mama's a bitch. Your daddy's a bitch. Your granddaddy's a bitch. Your grandmama's a bitch. Everyone's a bitch. Okay. That was so funny. But all right. We can move on to the Flyers. Did they win? They probably lost.
Probably. They were down 2-0 when we started.
Ooh, 4-1. Yuck.
Damn.
Yeah.
To butt-ass Montreal. Ugh. But anyway.
Well, they got,
classic trap game there.
Yeah. They just looked gassed. They were getting beat up, banged
they
up.
looked pretty. I mean, I started watching that game. They looked pretty good the first few minutes. Had a pretty good scoring chance, and then just the wheels came off after that. But they did get through the that big gauntlet in their schedule. Pretty, fairly unscathed. They pick up a few points. Did about as well as you could have expected. They're I don't know what the Islanders and the Capitals look like right now, but.
Well, they were losing earlier.
Yeah, if the Capitals win tonight, that would bump us out of third, I believe.
Let's see what we got. Let's
go Leafs.
Who are the Islanders playing?
I forget.
I am about to find out.
The Islanders are a little further behind. It's really right now, I think the Capitals are the biggest threat in the standings.
So the Capitals... They lost to the Maple Leafs 5-1.
All right.
The Islanders did beat the Panthers 3-2.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, the Capitals, they got smoked good.
All right.
So we're standings.
I think we're still sitting in third then.
Yeah, we're still in third yet. We're at 82 points. Washington's at 81.
Yeah.
The Islanders are back at 77. Okay.
Yeah, just hanging in there. But some interesting news. First of all, Alexei Kolosov, which apparently has kind of been a long thing coming. He was expected to come over, and now is, I guess, officially in the process of coming over. It's just a matter of sorting out visa stuff and all that. But more surprisingly, our boy Ivan Fedotov may be coming over, or is by all reports coming over.
He is coming over.
Yeah.
And he's a guy who could potentially slot right in there at backup. I know today Briere was talking about it's kind of a matter of them figuring out with the league how they fit him in with like the CBA and if they can sort of switch out their emergency backup or whatever with Sandstrom. And so there's like some logistical things to figure out. But in terms of talent, he can definitely step in there and be their backup. I mean, this is a guy, he's been in the KHL for, I think, 8 seasons. He's 27.
Yeah, he's old. I forgot.
He's not a young guy. He's been around the block a few times, but, put up very good numbers this year in the KHL with the Scott team.
Yo, is there ice wider?
Yeah, I think it is more of the... So it's closer to, like, the Olympic dimensions.
That's going to be an adjustment for him.
Yeah, for sure.
He's 6'7", 6'8", so that helps.
Yeah, so apparently if he comes over, he would become the tallest NHL player ever.
He's taller than Chara?
6'7", 6'8".
Or maybe it was goalie. I don't know.
Right, goalie. Chara's like 6'9".
Well, yeah,
Chara's a big bitch. Dude.
Maybe that's what they meant.
He's probably the biggest goalie ever.
Yeah.
That's huge at 6'7" for
Massive.
a goalie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be able to like be spry and move around in like the goal mouth like that.
I remember when he got nabbed for evading military service, and he was in the Russian, I think the Navy, I believe. And
he ain't no bullshit.
I remember towards the end of his service, they had a this tournament between the different branches of the military or whatever, and they were playing in like the championship between like the Russian Army and the Russian Navy, and like the comparison to the two goalies was the funniest fucking thing I ever seen, because it was like the Army goalie was like fucking like 5'8" or some shit, and Fedotov is just like towering above him, like he's so much bigger than him. Because the other guy was clearly like probably not
it's
even
like
a
me
professional.
Back there. I'm like in there playing goalie, like, all right, man, well, here we go.
But dude, I will say to my, few episodes back, I was talking about how I'm tired of these soft college players and this and that. But Fedotov, arrested by the Russian military, had to spend months on a fucking submarine in Siberian waters.
At 6'7"?
That's the guy. That's the guy you want between the pipes,
that's
baby.
Gangster, man.
Yeah,
I
that's
like him.
That's
But
the
to
guy
be
you
that
want
tall on
between
a
the pipes.
submarine, you'd be walking around like this.
Hey, yeah, that's probably
Probably brutal.
uncomfortable, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah, we'll see what he does.
He is older. Like I didn't realize
like
till today
27.
he's 27. So yeah, I mean, there's probably not a whole lot of upside there beyond what he already gives you. But he's gonna give you better backup goalie play than what Felix Sandstrom
Yeah,
did.
I mean, he put up
big
pretty
time.
good number. I think because he had like maybe like a 915 something or like save percentage this year in the KHL.
Dude, but also he's gonna be getting used to a new country, a new city,
Yeah,
a new language. It's like he probably speaks some
Democracy.
English. Yeah, a new form of government.
yeah, McDonald's. Yeah, they have that.
Dude, he's gonna be around all these American women.
At
Oh,
6'7",
distractions.
thriving.
He's
Yeah.
gonna be wilding out, dude. But either way, even him all hungover after night out with the boys at the strip club is probably better than
He'll be
Felix
fine.
Sandstrom.
And something
Yeah.
tells me this
Felix
guy's going to be
Sandstrom
okay.
was ass, dude.
Yeah.
Cal Peterson was even worse, but Felix Sandstrom
Yeah,
was
I mean,
butt.
they just haven't had, NHL
What's Brian
quality.
Elliott doing these days? They should have brought him
I
back.
think he's retired.
They should have brought him out of retirement.
He was a great backup.
He was the man, dude.
Yeah,
I liked
Moose.
Brian Elliott.
But
Bring Ray Emery back from the dead. Hell,
yeah,
it's like
R.I.P.
much respect, Ray Emery.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if they can figure out a way to slot him in, that could definitely give him a boost there and take a little bit of the pressure off Urson, because it's just every game he's out, it's just like, this is probably not going to go. I mean, that game they played against the Panthers a few days ago,
Oh, that one goal he
very
gave
well,
up. Oh,
very well could have won that game. They just got out. He just got outdueled by Stoley, the goalie. So I mean,
Yeah, Stoley was standing on his head,
he
though.
was, yeah. I mean, he was doing great.
He was killing it, dude. I was like, damn, we should have kept his ass.
But yeah, I mean, they played a great game, could have won, but just didn't have the goaltending. So yeah, I mean, we'll see. This could be, and he could stick around next year, could potentially become their regular backup, or fucking he could even become their starter next
maybe
year. Honestly,
Kolosov's ready.
yeah, I think it seems like the plan for him is to spend some time in the AHL, because he's what we were saying. Fedotov's 27; he's been
like
around
20, right?
Whereas Kolosov's is an actual prospect.
Yeah, he's young. Yet,
He's
yeah.
young. Put up some decent
So
numbers.
every now and again, a goalie will come up when he's 20, 21 and kill it, though.
Yeah. I mean, I think he might not need that much time. I think for him, it's just, a matter of getting used to, like we were saying, like the different kind of dimensions and different speed of the game. So yeah, he'll probably be with the Phantoms for a bit. Sounds like at least this season, he'll just stick with the Phantoms. And, yeah, I mean, who knows? He might come to camp next year and really kill it and make the Flyers, but...
We got, what's his name? Zavragin.
Oh yeah, that guy.
We got plenty of goalie prospects.
Yeah, we got a lot of guys. There's one other guy like something with a B, but there's a B and then a J, like Jarmison or some shit. I don't know, some European shit. They got a bunch of European goalies basically.
Hey man,
stocking up on European goalies.
stockpile them.
Yeah, I mean one of them's got to pan out. You would think. But yeah, then the other news. Looks like Jamie Drysdale is actually going to be back before the end of the season,
That's
which
good.
I didn't.
That looked worse.
I wasn't expecting
yeah.
that, but today, Briere spoke to the media a little bit, gave some updates on the injured guys. Basically said Nick Seeler is probably the closest to being back, and then Drysdale he's a little less certain on the timeline, but expects him to be back before the end of the season, which would give him a nice little boost. I mean, they've kind of been playing with this makeshift defense for the past few weeks that has been holding its own, but I think you're starting to see it crack a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you lose to Montreal 4-1.
Yeah,
right?
I think
yeah.
You've gotten kind of surprising output from guys like Jinning and even like fucking Johnson, who they picked up in the deadline, has been like fine.
He's had a couple real good games.
Yeah. But I think that's starting to run out a little bit, and it'll be good to get some guys back. Sounds like Risto is probably not coming back this season. They have no idea when he's coming back. So,
well, he gone, trade his ass in the offseason. But
yeah, that'd be good.
That's a different story for a different day. But having Sealer back, Sealer I feel like is kind of an intangibles guy along the defense, and then to get Drysdale back, one of your better like skating defensemen, can make a difference on the power play. The PK, because the PK's been kind of ass too, sneakily.
Yeah,
the PK's been kind of booty.
Yeah, I mean they got scored on tonight.
So yeah, I mean it'll be good to get them back, get tuned up for the playoffs against some soft teams. But to get through that gauntlet without those guys is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, I mean it could have been a lot worse.
I mean it could have been better. They could have won that Florida game if Sandstrom wasn't, or no, what was the game they could have won? The Carolina game, I think was what game Sandstrom played. He was ass.
I think the Panthers. Game. I think
he was ass against Boston one game too.
Well, they beat Boston.
No, the game they lost to Boston, Sandstrom was really ass. But the Carolina game,
that was probably the best game of that stretch. Was that game against Boston that we won?
Yeah, I missed that one.
Beat them. Fucking at the very end of that, fucking Marchand and Lawton got into it. Love to see that.
Marchand can kiss my ass
dude,
on Broad Street.
Yeah, I fucking hate that guy so much. He's like the perfect example of a guy who you hate, but you would love him if he was on your team.
For sure.
But fuck, I hate that guy. I hate that guy so much.
Yeah, he's a jackass, dude. He's a great player, though.
Yeah.
But do I have anything else on the Flyers? Oh. We had to talk about Torts, man. He's been pissing me off.
Oh, yeah. Some weird shit. So he benches Couturier.
We got to start. Oh, you're okay. Yeah, that's what I was going to start with. Yeah.
Benches Couturier for a couple games, which, a little weird. I mean, I think a lot of times when guys get scratched for a game or two, the fans tend to overreact a little bit. I mean, sometimes it's just like, yeah, it's not the end of the world to give a guy a night off here and there. But a guy who you just weeks ago made the captain of your team.
And the way he was acting about it.
And it was just weird. And obviously rubbed Couturier the wrong way. Like
he was not happy.
He was pissed.
Yeah. He did not seem happy about it.
I never seen him like that, like disgruntled about anything.
Yeah, he's a very like soft-spoken dude, but was not happy about it for sure. And yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, I feel like Torts kind of makes these gambles with moves like that, and it's kind of, is this going to light a fire in this guy? And sometimes it works out, and he looks like a genius, but also sometimes this is the type of thing where, this is why he kind of has a shelf life. And,
Butchie!
What are you doing?
Butchie wants to be on the pod. Get your little ass over here.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Torts is going to Torts.
Yeah, he's been pissing me off, man. Like, benching Couturier. He benched Couturier right before, I think, the Florida game against some really good team. He benches one of his best players. Even though Couturier hasn't been great. Jesus.
I was trying to pick her up.
She's like, yeah, don't touch me. But she's like, I don't want to talk about hockey. But, yeah, so then, what did he do after that? Oh, then he stops talking after that game, he then talked to the media.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was after the game, after the Rangers game, right?
Well, he skipped talking to the media a couple times.
Yeah.
He had Bradshaw go talk to the media. He tried to say it was because his family was there. Then you say something before that. Like,
right.
Not when you're throwing a temper tantrum over Couturier, you decide not to talk to the media. That's just not a good look.
Yeah.
And then he did that thing, the game Sandstrom started against, I guess this was the Florida game Sandstrom started, where post-game they asked Torts like 2 questions. His media availability lasted 40 seconds. He just didn't answer the questions and just walked away. It's like, what the hell, dude?
Yeah.
It's like, you can't just not say anything at your media availability. You just don't show up. So then I guess he's decided
Would you hear that other report? And this is kind of something that we've kind of been speculating about ever since they made these changes to the front office and stuff. But there was a report that came out by, I think it was a guy who used to be, he was like the ex-GM of the Jackets when he was there. Basically said that part of the reasons why he left Columbus was that Torts wanted to move into management, and they weren't into that, so they kind of mutually parted ways. Oh. I know, like, it's kind of been understood, like, they haven't come out and said it, but it's kind of been, like, the writing's been on the wall that whether it's next year or somewhere down the road, it seems like Torts is going to move into the front office and let someone else takes over, and, like, I don't know if maybe some of this stuff is signs that that's coming sooner than later. If he's tired of doing these like post game press conferences,
he's just tired of dealing with it.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, to your point, it has been long assumed that once the Flyers find a new coach, Torts is just gonna send to a GM, like front office
player
level,
personnel kind of guy.
Which I mean, I kind of get that. I'd be fine with it. He's an older guy. He doesn't want to coach forever. He's a Hall of Fame hockey coach.
Yeah,
he can just kind of be a GM or assistant GM or whatever he wants to be, special advisor. But I mean, him as a coach, man, he'd be doing some bonehead shit. This game, I mean, the first game it happened was the Carolina game, where he goes out there, he has Cates, or no, I'm confusing the lines, but he goes out there with a reserve lineup against their first line in overtime.
Yeah, in overtime.
It's like, then he did it again against the Rangers. That crazy game where we fought back and forth.
That was a great game.
All game. He comes out here with Sanheim, Paling, who was gimpy on one arm.
Yeah, he got like messed up right at the end of the third period, yeah.
Of course we're going to lose that goddamn game. We lost it in 20 seconds.
Yeah.
What is he doing?
Yeah, I mean, like, I understand, like, the thinking there, that it's...
I do too, but it's no.
But it's, you know, it kind of reminds me of when old school baseball managers refuse to put their closer in a high leverage.
I thought right away.
High leverage spot where it's like we need to save them for this, but it's like, well, if you let up 3 innings in this, you know, in the 8th inning when you have the bases loaded and really need a strikeout or whatever, then that isn't going to matter. And it's the same sort of thing where, yeah, it would be nice if you survive that first shift and then you have the matchups that you want, but if you get scored on in 20 seconds and the fucking game's over,
you lost.
Yeah.
That was infuriating, and he's done it a few times.
Yeah, it's
like,
just...
what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, and even, like, I mean, you don't necessarily have to... I can understand maybe trying to save a couple... maybe you want to save Tippett and Konechny for your second line or whatever, but at least, like, put Couturier out there for the first minute or whatever as, like, a guy who's, like, more of a shutdown forward. If that's your goal, is to just... I want to be like hard checking, shut these guys down. Don't just put a bunch of fourth line guys out there.
Right, that was just asinine. Forster's like he's been a good defensive forward. Like put someone else out there, dude. Just ugh. So yeah, I don't know what's gone through his mind, but like you would think after they lost a game or two with that, he would learn. Nope.
Stubborn like a mule.
I don't know.
What's that noise?
What'd you say?
Butchie's over here freaking out.
He's got an alert.
Butchie, what you doing over there?
Stubborn like a mule he is.
Butchie doesn't want to be on the spotlight. Anyway, I don't think we have much else on the Flyers. They got this schedule coming up. The Capitals are breathing down their neck.
Yeah, it's going to be...
hold up. We got Wayne Simmons' retirement night.
Yeah.
Yeah,
April 13th.
in April, yeah. Is that a Friday?
I think it's a Saturday afternoon game. I was looking up trying to see if maybe I had tickets, but they're already like expensive.
They're pretty expensive right now.
Yeah, maybe like a last minute thing, but
yeah. Well, shout out Wayne Simmons. The day he announced his retirement, I wore my jersey on this pod. The week that we record after he retires, I will wear my jersey on this pod. That's my guy, dude. Yeah. Butchie, what are you doing?
She said, "Damn, someone took a shit in here."
All right, what else we got? That's it on the Flyers, right?
Yeah, I guess there's the Shohei news we can talk about a little bit. Yeah, this is interesting. The translator,
the old interpreter,
the old interpreter's taking $4 million and wiring it to a bookie. The thing that happens to us all.
Well, I didn't realize that gambling was illegal in California. No.
Sports betting is illegal in California.
I didn't know that. I did not know that. I guess he didn't know that either, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
he should have known that.
He's from Japan, dude.
Yeah. They love to gamble.
Japanese people do?
Oh, we were in Hawaii. There was a lot of... You can't gamble in Hawaii either, but...
I'm sure they had VPNs and whatnot to hide their location.
You can see like the little you can see like above there was this one bar we went to 8 Fat 8, right in Honolulu, and above the one laundromat was like looked like apartment buildings, but it was like just a bunch of windows and curtains in front of it. But you could clearly tell that there were like neon lights behind the curtains, and like the bar would be in there like 2 a.m. I look out, I'm like, what the fuck? Like people are and people be walking out, like go to the bar, go over there, like. People are gambling, you can't hide it. But
hey,
yeah, man, $5 million. You said, oh, I didn't know.
But it's weird. I mean, I feel like the story has changed a couple times because originally it was like, oh yeah, he was gambling and I was doing it to cover for him, and then it became like, oh no, he just stole this money from me. It doesn't really look good for him. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I hope that. I don't know. I mean, it would be kind of funny for the Dodgers to get screwed over, but like. Ohtani's been so good for baseball, like it would really be pretty brutal.
I think they're going to do everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think they're going to do everything in their power to avoid it being a serious stain on his reputation. That interpreter's
like, damn, I had this shit made in the fucking sun too. Like he's fucked. You saw Pete Rose came out though this week and made a joke.
Oh, what he said?
He was like, damn, I wish I had an interpreter back in the day.
Pete Rose is a piece of shit, but that's pretty funny.
It was funny as shit. I said, damn, man. But it's true, probably, But, yeah, I don't know, man. Shohei, a degenerate, one of us. Love it. Love to see it. But, yeah, man.
It kind of, I mean, was that guy on the Raptors.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull that up. This was wild, dude. This guy, like, he was on some other shit. Because I guess he figured he wasn't going to make any money like as an NBA player.
I feel like you're going to start seeing this with these like league minimum guys because you would think like it's crazy for a guy who's making millions of dollars a year to risk it for making some money off some bookie. But if you're a guy who's making like a couple $100,000 a year or something, then like you probably could make a lot more than that by throwing games or.
So yeah, here's the deal with him, right? Jonte Porter of the Raptors. This is from ESPN. At issue are prop bets involving Porter from games on January 26th and March 20th, multiple sources told ESPN. An NBA spokesman told ESPN that the league is quote-unquote looking into it. This is so... you have seen this? This shit's wild.
Yeah, I saw something about this.
In the game on January 26th against the Clippers, there was increased betting interest on the under for Porter props, which for the night were set at around 5.5 points, 4.5 rebounds, 1.5 assists. There was also an over-under for Porter made 3-pointers, which was a half, 0.5. That evening, Porter played just 4 minutes before leaving the game because of what the Raptors said was an aggravation of an eye injury he had suffered 4 days earlier against the Memphis Grizzlies. He did not score against the Clippers, but had 3 rebounds and 1 assist. He did not attempt a 3, meaning he underhit on all of the props.
Dude, and there was I saw this one clip that was going around of him where he was, at the top of the key, like at the 3-point line, and just chucked up this ugly looking 3, but it ended up like hitting the backboard and going in, and he just was not excited about it at all. He was just like, just kind of like walks back to the other side.
I just lost $1,000.
Yeah,
damn it.
Yeah.
So like. Sportsbooks caught on to this. They're like, why is this no-name like NBA player? Why are people voting his props?
Right.
And like, why are people voting like $10,000 on his props or whatever the max is for the sportsbook? It varies depending on the sportsbook, but people are voting like several $1,000s on this no-name player's props.
Yeah.
And then like you watch the games and you see him just tanking or just coming out after like 10 minutes.
Damn.
Just like, what the hell are you doing, man? Shit, I'm about to do that.
Yeah. It's all about the money right there.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to just become a sort of a thing, the way, way as how it's been with like PEDs, where originally it was just like scandal whenever someone was caught with steroids or some illegal substance. Now it's just like, oh, there's another guy got caught. He's going to be suspended for a little while. No one really cares. It kind of feels like that's the way this is all headed, which is kind of a shame because it's like,
I mean, at least it's just players that like are kind of irrelevant though to the game. But like when it starts affecting the outcome of games, though, then it's going to be a little.
Ohtani's.
But when it's the own players that are doing it, then it's like what? What are you supposed to do?
You can't. you know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you can't just let it get to the point where these games start to feel like you're watching fucking like professional wrestling or some shit. It's just like
you know the outcome what's going to happen.
A bunch of bullshit, yeah.
But yeah, so with Ohtani, right, was he like or was the interpreter betting on his games? No, right?
No.
I think they weren't.
It wasn't directly his game.
Yeah.
It was just gambling. Like, it was just betting on just other
sports gambling
items.
in general.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
yeah, I don't think there was
anything wrong with that.
I don't think it was baseball. I think it's kind of the main thing where it's not.
I think
like,
it's because it was it's illegal in California to gamble on, like, to do all that shit. Okay. And also $5 million. It's not like he was, you know,
it's not a couple $100.
You're not on DraftKings doing a little $20 fucking, you know, whatever. You're $5 million. My man's out here gambling. He's gambling on some shit, big time. But when you get paid, also he didn't really get that money yet though, so I don't know.
Yeah, all that money's be like he's getting $2 million a year. It's mostly getting deferred. Damn, I'd be mad at my translator. I'd be ready to beat his ass.
Well, I'm sure he said something to him, but you know, I'm gonna brush up on my Japanese.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Speaking of all this gambling, there was this one clip I really wanted to play. Hold on a second.
Butchie's digging over there inside that guitar amp.
Yeah.
Butchie's getting bucked tonight. What got into her?
So many different ways you could play a game. You could look at the spread, you could look at player props, the total, but we're going to get, again, a little spicy here. This is going to be a sweat. I wish I could give you a ton of research on why this is going to hit under, but when we look at UConn, they like to slow down the tempo. The same thing goes for Northwestern. If they want to stay in this game, they're going to have to slow down UConn's offense, and we like to go off what we just saw. So for Northwestern, for example, they just put up 77 points on Florida Atlantic, but you have to remember, 19 of those points, they came in overtime. So I expect this to be a slow game all around, good defenses on both sides of the ball. And so if you look at a team total, although it seems low at 60.5, I'm going to go under there.
You know what? Some would call this wagering, gambling. I think the way you sold this, no, I think what it is risk-free investment. That's the way to look at it.
Positive way.
Aaron Dolan from ESPN bet with the best.
It's like
risk-free investment.
Yeah, it's like you might as well just stare directly at the camera and be like, it can't lose. Oh man, yeah, that feels like something where they could get fined for saying stuff like that.
Yeah, seriously, sportsbooks would be like, "What the hell are you doing here?" Damn. Yeah. Well, what are they getting? Well, I should have taken that bet. That's
I mean, that was right? That was kind of a while ago now. That was like the beginning of the tournament, but
man,
I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe that one. I don't know. But I think that's just gonna about do it for us here tonight, everybody. Please leave us a 5-star rating and review wherever you get a podcast. Give us a follow on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Send us an email at citywidepod@gmail.com. And from all of us here at the Citywide, good morning, good afternoon, good night.
Your mama's a bitch. Your daddy's a bitch.
Your grandma's a bitch.
Your grandma's... Oh, no, I messed it up.
The Braves are a bitch.
Everyone's a bitch. The Braves are definitely a bitch.
Okay.
Go Phils.